All right, everyone. Welcome to Your Inspired Journey. This is an episode that we have with a powerhouse within the house. Amen. And we are here with Dr. Barbara Littles. My name is Carla Andrews, and I'm just so excited about this conversation because I tell you, we have these conversations all the time, Barbara, don't we?
Yes, we do. I'm so excited to be here with you, Carla, because
I
now
know.
we might share our conversations with the world.
Yes, exactly. And of course, it's interesting how during the pandemic, a lot of people have taken the next step or really have gone to a point where now they're connecting on different ways. And we're learning as we're going along and building our businesses and building, relationships that between how the different platforms that are available to us that we really can stay connected even in a whole nother level.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think it's taken us out of our comfort zones, Carla, because we have our ways that we were used to connecting, and so now it's challenged us. And I think most people have grown in the process. Most people have grown in the process.
I know I have, but but I love it. I love it because you as my background being engineering, I am a techie, so a lot of this stuff has been really a joy to just really add to the whole aspect of my business, and of course, showing it to other people that we all can really just take our business a whole nother level if we decide to embrace the technology, the different ways and methods or the processes and the systems that's out there that's available to us. So I'm just so excited about it.
Well, you're the queen. You are the queen of processing.
I don't know about all that.
You're the queen. You're the queen of it, Carla. You can process and systematize anything. So I know that that's a good thing for you. It's a good thing for you in your business because that's what you do. That's who you are.
Well, I guess with a systems engineering degree, right? I don't have I don't think I have a choice. But you know what? I love it. I look forward to using the platform to hopefully add value to others as this has added value to me. I am so excited that you are here in the house to just basically share a lot about what it is that you do. And of course, you being a MVP Platinum Life Strategist, I'm just excited to hear the different things that you'll be able to share with us tonight and be able to just help us up level our lives, right? As we're going through this journey.
Absolutely. Carla, we always up leveling each other. And I think that's the beauty of life. It's the beauty of entrepreneurship. It's really is the beauty of living well is to be able to up level each other and up level our community. So that's what we're about. That's why we connect so well. Because that's what we're about.
Yes. And isn't it interesting how when we first met, the first thing we talked about, of course, is our family, right? We shared a lot about our family values and how we just love I love family. I love community. I love family. And this is one of the reasons why I went into the entrepreneurship world is because we wanted to support our family in a different manner and being there for them. And not only, yes, add value to them, but try to put it in a situation where we're able to add value to our family in an aspect of putting our business as part of the family, not before the family.
Well, it's funny because Carl, because I remember when we met, and we used to talk. We used to go to the same conference every year, and we would talk to each other. I said, "Oh, she's so nice." But it's so funny because up until that time, I think I told you this. Up until that time, I never had a roommate. I would always go to the conference and I'd be in the room by myself, because I'm like a little bit of an introvert. So I'm like, okay, I can't take too many people. But when I met you, I said, no, I think I could room with her. I think I could room with her. You just had such the family values piece and, you knew who you are. And you were just a person who just added value to people. And look, we've been rooming together ever since.
I know, right? And it's interesting that you're saying that you're an introvert because I'm a bigger introvert than you are. People don't realize. A lot of people say, "Oh my God, she's not." But really, I'm actually a super shy person. But I do live by passion. I do live serving. I live to serve, and so this has put me in a position where I know if I'm sharing something with someone, it's coming from my heart, and so that kind of places the introvert aspect part of me on the back end because I'm so concerned about the person in front of me and sharing that. So that puts me in a place where a lot of people say, "Oh my gosh, she's passionate. She's really, extrovert." And people don't realize I am one of the shyest people on this planet.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I can see that. But you have, like you said, you have such a passion to add value to people that it drives you past it. It really does.
Exactly.
I mean, I've seen
really does.
And boy, I've seen you come alive on the stage. I was like, whoa. Yeah, you know, because your desire at that point is to add value to the people that are listening to you. So, yeah. So we've this journey, Carla. I love your format of your platform of Inspired Journey, because I think everybody's looking to really live an inspired journey. They really are.
Yes. Yes. I look at it in the sense that we are all entrepreneurs. We are living lives, whether you're having a career or you're in a position of leadership or, you know, entrepreneurship, but it's all about really living an inspired life. Living, I mean, what's the other choice? If it's not inspiring, what's the other choice? It's basically, you know, duh. So, of course, you know, our goal in life, of course, is to live, you know, living our passion out loud, living our purpose through others, and then really being able to know that every time we're getting up in the morning, right, that we're really making a difference. But as an entrepreneur, because I call myself the inspirepreneur, and the whole point behind that is it's okay to make a living while you make a difference. And a lot of times people have a issue with that in regards to, they think that if you make a living, it's an either or situation.
Wow.
I want to tell you that I'm fortunate, I'm blessed, and I'm grateful that I can be in a space where I'm making a living, but I'm making a difference. And that really makes my heart sing, period. And that's really the whole part about your Inspired Journey, is to allow people to, you know, to let people know that you can do it too. And this is why we're here, because I believe you are, you know, you're an inspiration to me, Barbara. And I can't tell you how thankful I am that God had placed you in my life, and to be able to just, you know, take this journey along, this journey called life with you. And I'm just so excited that you're here with us. And so we want to hear a little bit more about who you are, what is it you do, how you do it, all of that good stuff. So, you know, tell me a little bit about Barbara Littles.
You know, it's real simple, Carla. A lot of people, some people call me attorney. Some people call me doctor. Some people call me Mrs. Some people call me evangelist. Whatever they call me, the truth is that the guiding light in my life is God. Okay, so that's really forms of foundation. The basis, my faith forms the foundation and the basis of who I am. And I'm a family person. I love family. So God and family, and then those friends that you have in your life are everything. And I believe that what we build around that, we give life to through those life sources. So the life source for me really is, you know, God, family, and really good friends. That's a life source. And so everything I do in my entrepreneurial journey, you know, I practiced law for 25, almost 30 years. And I've been practicing and doing leadership for the last 10 years and working with entrepreneurs. And that is absolutely wonderful. I just took my skill set from a litigator to bring it into the entrepreneur world, and to add value to other people and to help them grow and grow their businesses.
And I've seen you doing such a wonderful job in regards to just, you know, just serving other entrepreneurs. And I love how you are able to nurture, you know, really helping them to launch in a whole different level in regards to having that idea, right? And be able to just place them in a position where they are confident to take that next step and be able to build what it is that they're looking to build. So I am in awe of how you do what you do and how quickly you do it also. So that's fantastic.
Well, you know, I've realized, Carla, that my joy is in activating people. And so, because we all have unique gifts, and we have God-given gifts and skills, and then we have skills that we acquire and that we grow on top of that. But I really realized that I enjoy activating people. So I can sit with a person and hear their story, hear what they want to do, and I'll get 10 ideas of multiple streams of income from that one idea. So I say that I'm a strategic person, and I've been strategic.
Yes, you are.
And I really use that because that's something that I've developed as an attorney all these years, and I'm a negotiator. So I strategically negotiate the best outcomes for people. It's what I did for the last 30 years, and it's what I do in business. So I like to say that I help people, Carla, really negotiate those best outcomes in their lives and their business.
I love how you mentioned about, the strategy, the negotiation aspect. And I see that because, right, the attorney life that you've lived. And so you're a strategic negotiator. How do you take the negotiation? Like what made you think of the negotiation aspect about a person elevating their lives or activating their life based on negotiation?
Well, that's a good question, Carla. And honestly, it was a process. And I want to really say this because it's a process for a lot of entrepreneurs. And sometimes we think that we know exactly what we're doing when we start our businesses, but we don't. So when I started out and I started speaking and people would ask, what do you speak on? I would give, there's several things that I like speaking on. Negotiation was not one of them. Until one day I had a company that contacted me and said, here are a list of 5 things. We want to know which couple of topics you could speak on. And so negotiation was on the list. I said, I can speak on negotiation. I've done that for 25 years, but I don't know if I want to do the legal thing. And I checked that box, Carla, and 2 other boxes. And of course they came back and said, oh, we would love for you to speak on negotiation. And so I said, okay. And so, I got ready for the workshop, spoke on negotiation. It was a workshop for women. And then, Carla, I began to realize how women, a lot of times, research shows that we negotiate just as well as men, except for when it comes to ourselves. And I thought,
That's
wow.
True.
And so my desire was to help women, not only in business, in contracts, because I start out there, but then how to negotiate every aspect of your life. Carla, there are negotiations that take place in relationships. And you've been married for a long time. I just hit 35 years.
Yep.
Married. Same man. We've been married to the same man. Not the same man, but I've been married to Frederick and you've been married to Cedric.
I felt like we just I just went through a negotiation, seems like yesterday. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's exactly right. And it takes the negotiation, but you have to start out in any negotiation process knowing what you want. And so helping people get clarity, even in their business and in their lives, helps them to be better business people. And it helps them to really live their best life. So knowing what you want and how to ask for it. But honey, you only get what you negotiate. You can want it all you want to.
That's correct. That's so amazing because you're right. Because if we don't negotiate, a lot of times what you will receive is not exactly what it is that you want, right? So a lot of us, and especially and I deal with women entrepreneurs also, and it's interesting that you mentioned that because a lot of times we'll accept something and we know we don't like it, but we'll just be quiet about it. We'll just carry on and move forward with something that we don't care if it upsets us. But we just, we're not in a space where we feel that we're in a space to negotiate something of another, another process. So yes, and of course, what that does. That makes us put places in an unhappy space. It makes us, not just satisfied with life. And really, if you're not satisfied with your life, you're not living your best life. Absolutely. So you're right. Negotiation can be a huge part of how you inspire yourself to the next level.
Carla, you're so right. Both of us, we've had a lot of similar experiences. We both came out of corporate America. So we've had the whole trail in corporate America. So there's some things that we understand about business and how processes and political environments, how those things work. And the truth is that women a lot of times have been we've paid the price for asking for what we want because people tend to see us as well, who does she think she is? Why would she ask for that? Et cetera, et cetera. Where, quite frankly, they don't feel the same way if it's a man. And that's just reality.
That's true.
They don't.
No, it is. It is.
So you have to bold.
Yes, definitely. I've had to learn that the hard way. Being in the engineering world, And usually most of the departments I was in, I was usually the only female.
Absolutely.
Right. I was the only woman in the department. So I had to be put in a position where, the shyness or the introvert, that wasn't helping me. And I saw how it impacted my movement within an organization. So I had to make a change quickly. I had to change just the way I communicate with others in regards to my needs, my desires, or even another client. And sometimes when I mean clients, it could be an internal client, right? Another department. And based on how I approach my managers or the supervisors, it made a big difference. So I realized quickly that if I'm going to be in this world where, I have to put myself in a position of communicating what my needs are and negotiating what my needs are, that I had to do it quickly or I would have been sinking fast. So you're exactly correct about that. That's fantastic. So let me tell me something about when you said strategy, because I know that's a big word for you in regards to strategy. Share a little bit about that.
There are different types of people in the world, Carla. There are people who think about stuff and they just do it. Or they don't think about it and they just do it. I've always been a thinker, that I think through what I'm doing first. So I've always been like that. And I think for sure going to law school and going through that process and having to think as a litigator, I litigated for 25 years. So thinking through cases, thinking through not only what I wanted for my client, but what does the person coming to the table want? Thinking through that. And I used to have clients that would say, well, how do you know what they, why are you worried about what they want? Because in order for you to get what you want, I've got to know what they want.
Yeah.
And so this whole issue of strategy and where is this going? If you think about it, Carla, for a lot of us, there are underlying themes in our life. So I was never in a relationship, like with a man where I didn't know where it was going. I wasn't going to be 5 years like, well, where is this going? I knew where it was going. It was either going to a marriage if that's what I wanted, or we were just going to be friends. But I like to know where things are going. Now, you can't know that about everything in life. That's where your faith comes in. But in terms of negotiation and being strategic, I think that you have to think through what it is you want in life, because it helps you to make the right choices for yourself. It helps you make
it's
the
so
right
important.
Yes.
And that brings us to, like you said, that's like clarity. It's the clarity of what it is that you want out of life is so important, because without that clarity, how are you making these choices? How are you making these decisions for your life, for your business? So clarity is massively important, and really take some time and really strategize exactly what it is that you're looking for from a vision, right? We may have that vision, but you still have to strategize that vision and put it into place. So that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So
go ahead.
So tell me a little bit about, you talk about, you help women entrepreneurs. How do you feel? What is the vision that you have for your organization in regards to working with women entrepreneurs, whether in a strategy or negotiation? But what is your platform in regards to working with others?
I say, Carla, that I help women entrepreneurs to connect the dots in life and in business, so that they can negotiate their best outcomes. So what does that mean? It means that sometimes we have a vision of something we want, and then we have the other things that we're doing, and they don't connect. So I come along and I help them connect the dots. Is what you're doing going to get you potentially to where you want to be, and will get you there in life and in business. So instead of just considering business, I have them consider the whole of their lives. And that works out well, because you have to consider that when you're in business. We walk through the world a little bit differently. And so connecting the dots between, what you want, where you are, and what you want, where you want to go, is absolutely critical. It's about being intentional and purposeful, because otherwise, Carla, it just doesn't just happen. And there are people who think it just happened. They think I want it
by default, right? That's right.
Not by default, by design. Yes.
It's by design, for sure. Design. So if you had to tell, let's say, your younger self 5 things that you would have done differently, right? What would be those 5 things? And it could be in different areas, right? There are 5 areas of of our lives that I really focus on, and that's, you know, my values, relationships, in regards to, you know, how I work and how I serve, and of course, you know, how you apply your passion to your life, and then really making sure that you're doing something purposeful. If you had to choose 5 things to tell the younger Barbara,
yes,
of how to negotiate and how to move forward, right, in this life, especially now, what would you tell her?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, because I think about this all the time, because, you know, just as you do, I have, you know, daughters. And so there are things that I see that I want them to be able to enjoy. I would have told my younger self to have more fun. I think I didn't have as much fun as a lot of other people because I was so focused on getting where I wanted to go. In fact, you know, it would be almost anticlimactic. You know, I get ready to graduate and I'm already thinking about law school. Okay, I'm graduating from college. I'm already thinking about law school. You know, so I'm over that. You know, I'm graduating from law school and I'm already thinking about the bar exam. So my mind is somewhere else. So I would tell myself to also learn, plan for tomorrow, but live in the moment. Plan for tomorrow because you have to plan for tomorrow, but enjoy the moment. I would tell my younger self. Secondly,
you have to.
Yeah. Secondly, I would have told my younger self to speak up much sooner. Speak up
much sooner.
Much sooner. Speak up much. Don't wait, because I used to think when I was younger that if I just worked hard, if I put my head down, worked hard, that I'd be recognized. I didn't have to be one of those people that were up saying, "Oh, look at me, this is what I do, look what I did," you know? And so that's what I thought. But I realized that no, you have to work, but you have to also learn to speak up. So I teach women to speak up. You have to speak up. I learned that. I learned that in my corporate career. I learned to say no. I would have learned to say, my third thing is to learn to say no.
That's a big one. That's a huge one.
That's a big one. Because a lot of times when you're a person that wants to add value to people, and you're always there to add value to people, sometimes you're not as discerning as you should be in terms of and understanding that it's okay and you have to say no to some things. Because if you don't, then you don't have the clarity you need. So that would have been the third thing is to learn to say no quicker. I would also say I would have collaborated earlier with people. I think a part of that for me was being more introverted and taking a longer time to warm up to people. So that was a big thing for me. So I would have, you know, part of that's personality. But I would have collaborated earlier, and then I would have wanted to have known, and we always want to know things earlier, that I have a unique gift to bring to the world, and that
you're enough. You're what the gifts, the God-given gifts are enough just for you to be able to serve the world and be able to live out your purpose and your passion.
Absolutely, Carla, because when you don't have a clarity and you can't and you don't say no and you don't know that you're more than enough. But the other thing that I will say, and this is another practical piece in reference to other areas of my life. I used to be an avid person to work out. And when I got to the point where I started having kids and I couldn't work out an hour at the gym, you know, my husband used to go, you laugh about this now. He used to go to the gym. He said, I'm going for 20 minutes. And I'd say, 20 minutes? If you can go 20 minutes, why bother to go? Right? And then as I began to gain the weight over the years, I thought maybe that 20 minits wasn't too bad after all.
Yeah.
So I would have concentrated a little more on me if I were going to talk to my younger self. Yeah. So put you in the equation. Always I think especially true for women, Carla. Whether it's physically, whether it's going out with friends, whatever it is, we are nurturers, tend to be by nature, but you have to have you in the equation. You got to be on the list, you know?
And, you know, it's funny that you said that because, you know, a lot of times, you know, and I'm sure both of us have met a lot of women in this space where we serve to a flaw, right? But when we don't include ourselves in the equation, as you mentioned. And I've met women where they build relationships, they build lives, they build businesses, and then eventually they're moved out of the equation. And so I used to always tell my young, I'm always mentoring the younger ladies. I said, be careful of building a castle and you don't have the key.
Ooh, Carl.
So you got to be very careful of always ensure that you are part of your story. And I've had to do that, but I've come a long way when, what activated me in a sense in regards to trying to live the best life that I can every single day, Barbara. It was when I did my first speech, and it was the shortest speech on earth. It really was. It had 3 words in it.
What were the 3 words, Carla?
I, and I. And I took off running. And then when I took off running to the backs of the stage, and this happened at one of the corporations, my first corporation out of high school, and it was a scholarship. And all you had to do was basically, I had a 4.0. I was vice president of my class. I had the accolades and accomplishments. I volunteered over 20,000 hours. I couldn't help it because mom wanted me to volunteer with her at the hospital. So you had all these things. So all I had to do is really walk on stage and share a little bit about myself. And I got tongue twisted. The cat got my tongue. I mean, all of that stuff happened. And then I said those 3 words. I looked out and there were all these famous people in the audience. And I got starstruck. I was like, that's so-and-so. That's so-and-so. Oh, no. And I mean, I literally just went blank. And I took off running to the back of the stage after those 3 words. But guess what happened, Barbara?
What?
Guess what happened? I fell.
You fell running off the stage?
I fell running off the stage because I had on heels and the bottom of the heels was slippery. And I had kind of a sundress on. And then the sundress went over my head.
Carla, stop.
That was my exit off the stage.
Carla, that's a real story.
This is a true story. And the funny thing about it is this award was mine to have. The other person actually won it. They got on stage and they were like, hey, Barbara, how you doing? How's everything? I mean, they just had them a good old time with the people in the audience, had a B average, never did volunteer work. My resume was 3 pages long.
Wow.
And then his resume might have been half a page. Guess who won the scholarship?
He did.
He did. And from that day, it made me realize I needed to up-level the way I communicate.
Wow.
And I've been on this personal journey from that day, from high school, because of that experience. And I'm always sharing with other people, like you said, always be inspired to live a better life, always be inspired to help others, and then be able to go beyond the introvert side. And if you focus more on others and serving others, then you become in a space where you're living out of your passion, you're living out of your purpose. You're building relationships. You're connecting with your values to what it is that you do your work. And then you become in a space of where you're inspired every single day. Wow. You're inspired every single day. And this is why I knew I had to go down this journey. And like you're saying, those things that you're sharing is crucial to how I had to connect with myself. Like you said, my younger self, and then kind of take this journey forward with me.
Absolutely. I love, Carla, that whenever you're talking, since I've known you, you've talked from a place of values. Yes. And I love that. So I know that that's attributable to the type of person you are. This integrity, a personal loyalty, a ride and die, ride and live. And so I love that. And I think when you live out the values that you talk about all the time, and your passion, and your purpose, then you can do anything and you can go anywhere. Yes. You really can.
Anywhere.
Because those things, as we know, Carla, are your guiding lights. They tell you, your values will tell you when to go. Your values will tell you when you're in danger zones. Your values will tell you in those difficult times when you when you do build your business, and as you're building your business, we're all going to have an opportunity to step outside of the zone of our values. And if you know your values and you've lived your values, it's very easy to say no. But if you don't know, if you don't have clarity on them, that's a whole different deal.
Yeah, it's so true. And it helps you even when you're, especially now more than ever, it's so important about building relationships. I can't tell you how I value our relationship, Barbara. You are a powerhouse. You are phenomenal. And you're mentioning about the values. You are that person that helps people understand why it's important to have those values and be able to continue building relationship. Here we are. We're going on year 10 of knowing each other practically. And it feels like I met you yesterday. And it's like, I look forward to speaking with you. We could be on the phone 3 hours if we're not careful. And I have to be careful. We're not on this live for 3 hours, but that's another story.
I know. But you know what though, Carla, it also is such a message to younger generations. Because I know when my daughter and your daughter met at a conference, they just hit it off. And I was talking to my daughter today. Well, what are you doing tonight? I'm sorry. I'm all the car. She said, and this is what she said. She said, I just love the way you two support each other.
Yes.
We live out, Carla, and we should live out what it is we're teaching our children. Because we're always teaching. And what we do is really what we're teaching. And so I want to teach, especially women and younger women, how to support each other, because have a mindset of abundance. There's enough for everyone. It really is. You, Carla, and celebrate what you do. When I first met you, I said, Carla, you are a systems person. I remember sitting in the room and I was trying to figure something out. And you were over there and you just sat down. You just broke it down, Carla, I was like, woo, okay. And then when when you told me you were an engineer, I said, oh, it makes sense. It makes sense. Because she physically can break stuff down and put it together.
Yeah.
Also, you had the ability to take systems, words, processes, strategy, and break it down and see where it fits and put it together. And so it was like a natural fit, for us talking to each other. But I think the inspired journey, Carla, is having those people in your life and building those relationships. And you won't have a lot of them in your life. You won't have like 100 of them in your life. Because I think that every relationship you have to put time into and effort into. And you have to decide which ones you want to put time and effort into. So I'm so glad that we chose each other.
Yes. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because, usually, I communicate, that, I tell my children this all the time, like relationships are like plants, right? And so I remember like my son, he has this knack about connecting with people. And I'm like, I learn from my kids. I learn from my husband how they do. I mean, they're natural when it comes to relationships, building relationships. And my son he was offered a position in Dubai. And I'm like, you better take that position. I'm trying to get to Dubai myself. But, it's like, he'll say, Mom, I'll meet this person. Like, we went to this restaurant. And then before we know it, it was like, oh, don't worry about it, Bryce. And I'm like, who's that? Oh, that's the owner of the restaurant. And I'm like, where do you meet these people? And he has like that natural knack of just connecting with people. And, and I've learned that, when you come from your heart, when you are able to just be genuine with that person, that just really opens the relationship to a whole nother level. And, I've always shared with them, like building a relationship is like having a plant. If you don't water it, if you take a plant and you put it in the corner and then try to come back 4 weeks later, what's going to happen to that relationship, to that plant.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Carla. Building relationships is key. I tease my husband because I say he's an extrovert. Okay. He will talk to we get on the plane and he'll just talk to everybody. He will know the flight attendants, where they live, how many kids they got. I was listening to him one day and I was thinking, why are you asking those people all that? And the thing that's so amazing about it, they just love it. They're like, oh, so. And so my kids and I laugh about it, but when we need to, I wonder if we could find somebody in so-and-so. He goes through his cards. And if he doesn't know somebody who knows, right? Because that's the way he connects. when I fly, I like to fly directly into a city. He likes the layovers because he'll call a friend in that city and say, hey, man, let's get together for lunch. It's building. I heard someone say this one day, and then I thought, this is what he does. He continues to build his relationships on the fringes of life. Because we all have a lot of things that we're doing. But those relationships, Carla, are key. So I have learned a lot from my children. I learned a lot from my husband and just the people in my life. And so to me, those are the people and the things that inspire me. I'm inspired by culture. I'm inspired by music. I like all genres of music. And so I'm inspired by a lot of things. I'm inspired by the word of God. So for me, I'm inspired by nature. I love mountains. I ended up West Virginia, but I love, mountains, and I love the ocean. And so there are things that I'm inspired by that really play a lot in my life and in the place of being in a joy in your life and happiness on a regular basis.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
No, this is fantastic, to have this opportunity to just hear, your connection to how you sharing really life, right? Sharing journey with your husband and just being tickled by it. Cause I do the same thing with Sed, he knows half of Palm Beach County. I don't know. It's like, I go to work and hear this, I know the Andrews, I know and I'm like, well, can I just go somewhere? I don't know something. It is. You're right. No. They're extrovert. They know people. They love people.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a blessing to be able to see him move in the space of his heart. He has a heart of pure gold. I mean, even my kids, if they had to say the person that does the discipline, it would be me. And then when they want to play and have a good time, they go to dad. That's how it is in this household.
That's right. He's a fun one. He's a fun one in the house too. Yeah,
he's the fun one. He's the fun one, big time. But share with me, like, if you had to identify who you are, right? Based on I know you shared about your relationships, the values. If you had to take 3 words to identify Barbara or what Barbara does for others, what would be those 3 words?
Elevate. I believe I elevate people.
Okay.
I believe that I help people with strategy, and that can be, Carla, in their personal life. I just that's the vein that I move in. I help people connect the dots. But I think I elevate people. I will strategize and negotiate. I'll put those 2 together. I strategize and negotiate with people, and I try to really live my life out loud.
I love it.
Out loud.
I love it.
Live out
elevate
loud.
People.
Yes, but the
live out loud.
Elevating people is extremely important to me. The others I think are kind of skill sets, but the elevating people, to me, that brings me the most joy, to activate and to elevate. So I activate and I elevate. And that brings me joy. So when I see a person move, Carla, from point A to point B, that's more exciting to me than anything. And if I just had just a little bit to do with it, I'm just thrilled. So to be able to do that now is great.
No, I'm telling you, I can't see anyone more of a nurturing spirit to have in my life. And you are so correct. That is who you are. You are a person of elevation and of course a person of excellence too. You respect the best of everyone. And anyone who comes around you, they better be on their best. but that's all. Huh?
Yeah, I do have a way of pushing. But you know what? I heard this years ago, and I think it was Tony Robbins who was saying there is a question that a guiding question that we all use in our life. And I discovered my guiding question is whenever I walk into a room or to any situation, how can I make it better? So it is an elevation. I just thought about that. So it really is, that's the guiding question of my life, that I walk into a situation and how to make it better. I've had to learn over the years how to introduce that or process that in situations, because sometimes people are intimidated by that. And they can see it as a critical place, but it's not a critical place because I do it to myself. If I do a conference, Carla, or a workshop, I had my friends, and Sean's on here. She can tell you. She'll say, "Didn't that go well? What did you love about it? What did you love about it?" And I said to her one day, she said, "Just don't seem exciting. It was great. It was great." And I said, "I need a day to process what I could do better, and then tomorrow I celebrate." And she was like, "What?" And it's just the way I am. So it's not that I'm not appreciative of what I've done, but while it's fresh in my mind, I want to consider what could I have done better. And then yes, I will celebrate the great of what I did. But for me, I just feel like if I celebrate first, I might think to myself and never get to the point where I think of what I could do better. So that really is a guiding question in my life. So when I sit in a boardroom, I sit in any room, I'm thinking about how can we take this to the next level? How can we do better? This is good, but how can we make it great?
Yeah. And I know you always, because I know you've talked about, talk about a little bit about the program that I know you just came from the call. Because usually I started this process and do it at 8:00, but I know you just came from your MVP Platinum workshop, right? Yeah. Or if you could kind of like elaborate on that a little bit.
First of all, thank you, because I know you usually do your call at 8 and you moved it to 8:30 to accommodate me. I started tonight an MVP Platinum, like an MVP. I love baseball, so it's MVP. We all have an MVP if you're in sports, but an MVP Platinum. And this particular coaching program is a 5-week coaching program, and I did this particular coaching program, Carla, for women. And the M is for message, the V is for voice, and the P is for personality.
Love it.
And
love it.
The goal is to help women to elevate, to discover and elevate their message and their voice within the context of their own personality. That you're enough, but we're going to discover what your message is. Because, when we start out, Carla, in life, we are very carefree. And along the way, we live life. Life happens. People come along. And people will tell us who we are, what we should be doing. But, I'm taking them back to, what is your real message? What message were you born to deliver to the world?
I love it. Love it. And if someone wanted to connect with you, how would they reach out to you? Because I think that's a beautiful program.
Absolutely. So they can go to my website, or the best way for them to reach out to me is Barbara at BarbaraMLittles.com. And that's my website. So they can reach out to me there. They can reach out to me on Facebook. And it's Barbara Littles on Purpose by Design. But either one of those places, they can reach out to me. I love to have them. We have some great, great women. And I'm just in this season, Carla, of really elevating and helping women to elevate. I just like you, I grew up and I lived through and worked through male-dominated professions. And so, there are a lot of things we understand because we've been through that. And I also think that leadership, we work in the area of leadership. Leadership is still a lot male-dominated in terms of roles. And so I work with women, a lot of women who are male-dominated professions or roles, where they're in the role of leadership. I had a friend recently that told me, she said, "Barbara, I was in another country on a bus." She's engineer background, facilities thing. She said, and I was the only woman on the bus. She said, well, all the other men assumed I was a secretary. She said, no, I'm not one of the secretaries. I'm one of the CEOs. And so with that comes some challenges. They're not challenges that can't be overcome, but they are challenges. And so I want women to be confident about walking into a room, walking into a boardroom. I've walked into boardrooms where I sat down at the table, I'm the only woman. I've walked into boardrooms when I sat down, I'm the only African American. So, it took me a while to grow into a comfort level with that. But knowing who you are, what your message is, the value you bring to the table is extremely important. So I want women to understand the value.
And it's interesting that you mentioned about the voice, right? Because, someone like me, there was a time I didn't have a voice. I used to say, when you don't have a voice, you really just have a whisper, right? So you help those who are just whispering to actually come to the space of actually, be able to share the message. And actually, this is what your Inspired Journey is all about. It's about how you're sharing your message, how you're sharing your story, and really just kind of connecting with other people in a way of how your God-given talents are. So that is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, like, I know you help entrepreneurs, but do you have a purpose statement?
Yeah, my purpose statement, as I said earlier, I help entrepreneurs to really connect the dots in their life and in their business so they can negotiate the best outcomes. One of the things that I'm passionate about in this season, Carla, is there are a lot of entrepreneurs that get started and they're into business 5, 6, 7 years and not making a profit. Okay, now we go into business to make money. Okay, so in this season, I have another program, Breaking Margins, and I help entrepreneurs to get to profit. Okay,
Love it.
I'm a person of structure, so I believe in structure. I believe in setting the foundation for things, and so, but my goal is to help people to connect the dots. If you can't connect the dot from A to B, Carla, you can't get to C. You can't even find C. So
exactly.
Just connecting the dots of their why. Why are you doing this? Are you doing it because you want to do it? Because somebody else wants you to do it? And then what? And then how do I do it? So that's really my purpose and my platform statement for entrepreneurs.
I love it because we know you can be in a position where you've been a startup for 5 years, and so with your program, that is fantastic because you help them build that foundation so that they won't be right on the first base. Look, I'm not a baseball person.
I'm a baseball person.
I don't know that much. I don't know that much about basketball. Yeah. Huh?
You know what? I'm the baseball person. You're the basketball person.
I'm the basketball. I mean, right here, basketball and a little bit of football, but so baseball. I have no clue.
It's a 3-point shot for you, and it's the home run for me. Okay, you at some point you got to hit a home run. You got to hit a home run at some point, Carla. So,
and get off of first base.
Absolutely. and helping people to understand, Carla, that is the journey. I tell people when you hear people start out a sentence with, all you have to do, I say, run the other way. Because in business, it's not all you have to do. It is work. It's work daily. It's consistency. It's discipline. It really is. And so when I hear people say, well, you can do this, and all you have to do, I run the other way. There's no such thing as all you have to do. So,
that's fantastic, Barbara. I mean, I loved every second. Before Facebook kicks us off, if you had to literally, if you had one advice that you would share with someone who is listening to you, to your voice, to your message, what would that one advice be?
My advice, Carla, would be commit to the start, but to commit to the finish and see the end from the beginning. If you don't see the end from the beginning, you're really going to have difficulty. And what I want people to know, Carla, especially entrepreneurs, that you need help. And I tell the entrepreneurs I work with all the time, there's a lot of free information out there. And I think you should go and get the free information. But at some point, Carla, this is the bottom line here. You must invest in yourself. You cannot ask anyone to invest in you or invest in your business if you won't invest in yourself. So it's going to cost you.
I love it. Well, Barbara, I just want to thank you so much for coming on your inspired journey. I love you. You are the best. Can't wait again of course, we'll be, chatting, I'm sure, down the line over the weekend. But really, you are a powerhouse. You are phenomenal. You are a woman of God. I am blessed to know you. And I hope those who are looking to build that foundation, to be able to connect with you, right, at www.barbaramlittles.com.
Make sure you put the M in. Right. You got to put the M in, M Little. Thank you so much, Carla. I appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to for us continue to work together. So mad love.
Yes, ma'am.
Big love.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Say hello to your husband, your daughters, your family, and I look forward to connecting with you again.
All right.
Well, everyone, you got it. Everyone, this was a fantastic connection with one of our beautiful people on this planet. I'm telling you, if you don't know Barbara, get to know Barbara, because she will help you. She will elevate you. She will activate you. But more than ever, she will bless you. I will see you. I look forward to bringing more of these types of contents towards your way. I am blessed every time that I get to sit in this space and just learn from the giants. That's all I'm doing. And you're just coming along with me on this inspired journey to learn how to live your best life. Until then, God bless you, and I love you. See you soon.
All right.